welcome everyone to Nerd TV for another full throttle sim racing Mach-1 Performance Cup Series race. This time coming at you live from the simulated Bristol Motor Speedway, where these Mach-1 Performance Cup drivers will take 250 laps around here to make themselves into the round of 12. Weather on the track is pretty cool in perspective, 83 degrees on surface, 79 in the skies. You see a bunch of clouds there above the grandstands off of turn 4, and only 2-mile-an-hour winds. That's going to play no factor here tonight. 32% humidity, which, that's a pretty dry, cool evening here in Bristol, Tennessee. But my name is Jeremy Stanley, and of course, alongside me here, Jason Rockefeller. Jason, you're not at Bristol, but how you doing?
Oh my God, what? Man, I tried. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I'm still back in Atlanta, man. But hey, we're here. I'm ready to go. Definitely one of the most anticipated. I can't speak tonight. Anticipated races, probably, I'd say, for myself at least, when it comes to the playoff schedule. Obviously, this has kind of become a track that's kind of very unpredictable. I mean, we saw what happened on Wednesday night in the Martin Sports Truck Series. What's up, Walt? And that was a very interesting race because we only had, like 19, maybe 20 trucks, I want to say, in that field. And boy, was it a you-know-what show. I mean, absolutely just a complete crapshoot. It was the Talladega of all short tracks. Brody Hanna somehow managed to win that freaking race with half a damaged truck. I don't know how he did it. I'm expecting the same here tonight, honestly, but obviously these Cup cars handle a lot different than the trucks. Remember also, not to mention the fact that we saw a lot of hot temperatures at night compared to tonight's track temp, which doesn't look all that bad. So tonight could be completely different from what we saw on Thursday night or Wednesday night last week, or maybe it could be the same. We just don't know.
Yeah, man. Brody won both Kansas races, and then he won the first Bristol race. So at least for the televised series here at the Mach-1 Cup Series and the Martin Sports Truck Series, he is 3 in a row. So he's trying to go for a 4-peat here, which I'm sure he won't say no to for sure. Walter, Dustin, whoever you are, Ballistic, how are you doing over there this evening?
I'm ready for another fantastic race here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Like I said, probably one of my favorite short tracks. Very close competition with that and Richmond. I love Richmond as well. But like I said, it's like you said. I mean, we have seen some crazy finishes, crazy racing here over the last week and a half now. Just on pit strategy. I mean, call it what it was. I mean, he was off cycle, sat here and decided to come in, get fresh tires, blistered through the field. Before you know it, he was up at the lead. And nobody could get that final push and run on the restarts there to get by him, and he took the win at Bristol. So him being Brody Hanna, but I tell you what, it's going to be a fun one here. I'm not a huge fan of these cars, but these cars at certain tracks have been surprising me, and I've actually been pleasantly surprised with the way that they've been running, and I look for nothing different tonight.
I would like to hear that one more time. What about these cars that you like?
Yeah, nope, that's a one and done. You want to hear it, go back and watch the broadcast.
You missed it. You missed it, man.
That's the first time I heard something positive with
these cars. Yes.
I see Jeff Chandler racing on there on the YouTube saying, "What's up, nerds?" That's Richie Coy's line, sir. But we're doing fine and dandy up here and ready and excited for 250 laps here. It's playoff season. I know tied right now. Jeff Chandler, well, yourself, is tied with Richie P1. You're locked in, so we're all set there. So you're good to go to not do anything here tonight and still making it. But the bubble, kind of tight. We have Michael Blackner 10th. He's 64 back. And then 13th place, Ryan Hendrick. He's 72 back. So only 8 points really separate 10th through 14th. And, of course, 12th place and up make it through. So, pretty close battle. We could have up to 5 or 6 different possibilities as to who makes it, who doesn't. So, be on the lookout. That's Michael Blackner, Brian Dublé, Joshua Johnson, Ryan Hedrick, Tony Solari, Sherwood Williford. Those guys are all racing for a championship hope here tonight.
Yeah. I mean, you have, obviously, we just talked about, the championship standings, that being the playoffs. So remember, after tonight, 4 of those guys, they go home in a sense, metaphorically. They're not realistically going home. They're already home. Plus, they're still going to be racing. And that's the great thing about the playoffs, or even what used to be known as the chase, as, us old timers like to call it, but I'm not really, an old timer, but you know what you get what I'm saying. But
Maybe.
I don't like you. But hey, this is the great thing, though, about these playoffs when it comes to stock car racing within NASCAR between the Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series. I mean, you could still have the guys who are eliminated from the playoffs, and still race, and they can still pose a threat or kind of like a roadblock or a learning curve for some of these other guys. They have to learn how to get around them. But tonight, there's a lot of guys who have opportunities to win tonight. I'm really circling right now Ryan Chapman. He's pretty much in a must-win situation. I mean, if he leads a lap, that's some points and stuff like that. That would be great. So he probably wants to lead as many laps as he can tonight. But minus 26, it's going to be very, very hard for him to probably win here tonight with all the competition there is.
Yeah, minus 26, and there is, I think, 27 entries into tonight. So must win, and he's one of the slowest posted times in practice, too. So he's got a ton of work to get this thing where he needs to be. But it is qualifying. We're seeing cars live on the track on board with the roof camera, the 23 Brody Hanna. 3 wins in a row for this guy. So we're going to see what he does around this track to get himself in a decent position to try to four-peat. If you watched, that's not how you do it, Brody, but if you watched him on last Wednesday, how the hell did he make it to first place? I have no idea. He pitted throughout all those cautions and somehow struck luck, and then just ripped through the entire field to a win when he wasn't even in the top 5 contenders. So, but early on right here, Brody is not showing the way around Bristol.
Yeah, definitely not right now. And here's right now probably somebody who's looking to have a good run. Remember, we've been talking about Jose Acosta recently about how good he's been ever since he came on to the scene here in the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series for the FTSR guys. And I mean, he's been so fast week in and week out. You could have arguably made a statement saying, hey, he could have won at Darlington. Heck, he could have probably won at Watkins Glen. But last week at Kansas, just not a race that he wanted to do. Maybe tonight he could change that around. He's 4th up on the board. Here's the man. Whoa, he's got a hat on tonight. He's always got himself his red hair shown, but look at that right there. That is definitely not what Ryan Chapman wants to see. And Jeremy, just from the looks of it, it looks like these cars are very hard to handle here tonight, just like the trucks were on Wednesday night.
At least from this qualifying session, everyone is on edge, trying to find every ounce of speed, and of course, loose is fast. You just got to be able to control it. And Ryan, touched the wall there. That lap's going to be voided out, I do believe. So not a good look here for the guy that's in a must-win to get into the round of 12 as he completes his qualifying efforts. Looking on board now, the 06 of Daniel Simmons. This guy 3rd place in practice with a 14.401 at the line this time. His first lap, 14.561, so just over a tenth slower. But we're going to try lap 2 around the middle half of 3 and 4, coming to the start-finish line. Second lap posted. Doesn't do much more. 14.546 currently holds 7th place on the grid so far for the 21 cars that have qualified.
Not bad at all. He's coming off a top 5 from Kansas last week, behind rookie Jamie Knopf, and obviously Dan also a rookie this season for the Mach-1 Performance Cup. So maybe Dan can try to do something here tonight. We know how fast he's been recently, and as of now, it looks like there's no cars on track, obviously, but that also could just be that guys just were not able to post a lap time. But man, we talked about him just before. Ryan Chapman, this is not gonna be a race. We know how much he has struggled whenever he starts towards the rear of these type of fields here. So Ryan Chapman is definitely going to have his work cut out for him tonight. And also Sherwood Williford right now, middle of the pack. He's back by about 10 points from the cutoff line. So what Sherwood really needs tonight is probably just a solid night. He doesn't need to do insanely great, but a good night would probably advance him into the round of 12 here throughout the playoffs. But we'll have to see here. Time's ticking away. It doesn't look like we're going to have any more takers. Like I said, I believe everybody who tried to qualify were guys that ultimately just were not able to post a lap time that was valid, and they were then, invalidated. So it looks like here, Jeremy, Stephen Hollingsworth and Nick Moreau are probably going to start on the front row here.
Yep, that's what it's going to look like. And Stephen Hollingsworth has just been so fast these past probably 2 months or so. He found some speed of like 3 or 4 months ago, but the long run wasn't there for that car. That 25 just struggled anytime there's a long green flag run. But getting closer and closer to the playoffs, he seemed to find that edge 15, 20, 25 laps into the run, and he's been very competitive. So showing really fast in practice and qualifying, if he can maintain that tire wear throughout this race, if we get long green flag runs, then this 25 is going to be a weapon tonight in a positive manner. But these cars are on grid. So we're going to go over the unofficial, or the unofficial, wow, the official starting lineup here for the Bristol 250. Stephen Hollingsworth already noted he's going to be starting first, right side of your camera, inside of your camera, left side, Nicholas Moreau in the 15. Second row, Richie Coy in third, Jamie Knopp in fourth, Jose Acosta in fifth, Daniel Simmons sixth, Ben Tracy seventh, Chad Lang in eighth, ninth place, Ryan Hedrick, and 10th place, Tony Solari.
27 car field here tonight. Robert Mielicki and the Heartbreak Kid. Michael Blackner there sitting in 12th. 13th and 14th goes to Steve Loomis and Sherwood Williford. Just briefly talked about him needing a good night. 15th and 16th, Stephen Allen and Rob Tracy with another solid qualifying performance. Then you have 17th, 18th, Kyle Milliken, Brian Dublé. 19th and 20th, Josh Johnson, Danny LaFleur, who's coming off of a top 10 run last week in Kansas. 21st, there he is, the man, Ryan Chapman, needing a stellar night here tonight. James Wallace starting in the 22nd position. There's the Shell Pennzoil machine, Wayne Grossi, he'll start 23rd, alongside James Torrey in the 24, 25th, and 26th. Brandon Elder, and then Brody Hanna, who's been so fast recently here in the FTSR the last few weeks. And last but not least, 27th, Colton Gum.
I'm gonna see if Dustin can't get a camera on this number 4, Chad Lang. Of course, I'm part of the Nerd Wraps thing where I paint a bunch of race cars and whatnot. I've been doing so basically my whole life at this point. I love night version skins, and look at this thing. He brightened up the blue
Gorgeous.
here, and it's a nice blue chrome on that normal glossy to flat white. I'm in love with this skin. I think it's my favorite in the field tonight.
Yeah, and you know what's funny, too? Because obviously, as far as I'm concerned, now obviously me being that history buff kind of guy with the modern era here in NASCAR, I believe at one point chrome-type numbers or wraps, paint jobs, whatever you want to call it, were actually banned at one point. But as of the last few years now, the last couple years, I'd say now, once the next-gen era started, we have seen, some stuff where we've seen great representations of those colored chrome, cars and stuff like that. Ryan Chapman has been one of those drivers recently with that gold-plated 27 machine to drive it. And then obviously my boy Ryan Blaney, he's been driving that number 12 Advanced Auto Parts machine with a beautiful chrome red number on the side of that thing. Love seeing these chrome paint schemes. Chad Lang, definitely the best looking paint scheme out here tonight.
I can see why NASCAR wouldn't want chrome on the whole car, but needless to say, I love how they are allowed to do the numbers once more. I very appreciate that as a designer myself. But here we are. Green flag is out. Great start here by the 25. Just gets a massive lead. The 15 does not close the gap. So this is going to be on the 15 now to work over the 25, going through 1 and 2. Hollingsworth has Nicholas Moreau cleared. He likes to not give the lane to the 15 there. 3 and 4. Looks like he's gonna clear him by a whole car length. Top 3 separate early on here, and 2 by 2 for I think the back half of the field.
Jamie Knopf starting to work in that outside groove a little bit. He'll trail back down to the bottom. There's Chad Lang working to the outside of Ben Tracy. Gets a little tight off the corner. Everybody looks to get clean and good through turns 3 and 4. And through 1 and 2, you see Chad Lang continuing to work on that outside. Remember, Jeremy, Saturday night, we saw that line up on the top of the racetrack in the middle to late half of the race for the Cup Series guys. That ended up being the best lane here. And Chad Lang definitely making it work so far.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how the track's going to change over the course of this 250-lap race here at Bristol. Outside seems to always be beneficial late in the going. But I've noticed for myself personally that the inside of 3 and 4, since it's the short corner, this is kind of like an egg. Oh, contact with the 4 and the 24, moves up the 24 up the track enough to take the position. Little Bristol-like move there as he now goes up to the middle half of the track. But let me see the 0 or the 8 there. Ben Tracy, issues with him early on here. I did not catch that incident, but looked like he's going to gather it back up and get back to speed.
Bit loose off turn 4, Jeremy. I think he just maybe have brushed the inside wall just barely. We'll take a look here at the replay. This is the lap prior. See him working on the bottom of Ryan Hedrick, and then this is the back straightaway. So coming up here off turn 4, it looks like he might just get to the gas a little too early. No, this is the lap prior, so this is the lap. So coming down, still trying to run that bottom. Not really getting down there as probably as good as he probably wants to. And then right here through 3 and 4, gets to that bottom lane, starts to slide up. Ultimately, just a little too much mustard there. Oh, he didn't even hit it. What a great job by Ben Tracy to be able to save that. But ultimately, going to cost him a lot of track position, which is very, very valuable here at Bristol.
At least he didn't pull the 77 there in the real-life race on Saturday and hit that wall and come up and collect 3 drivers, including a playoff driver. So I'm thankful for that. We stayed green here. We already completed 10 laps so far into this race. Stage break, you will catch it at lap 85. So we don't know if we're going to see an entire field run or if we will. I think it's around 70-75 is that window, so it'd be really close regardless. But little racy right here about the 06 and the 47. This is the battle for 7th and 8th place. The 47 gets the pass on Daniel. Now goes right to the door panel of Jose Acosta. 3 and 4, the 47 in that Boomerang Motorsports car. Ryan Hedrick running really fast right now, moves himself up to 6th.
And the 24 of Acosta just slammed the door 1 lap ago on Daniel Simmons. Wonder if maybe that car not handling as good as he wants it to right now. He's already lost 2 positions since the contact with Chad Lang through 3 and 4. He didn't bump him. He just gave him a little bit of a nudge, trying to say, hey, man, I'm here. They got side-by-side. Little contact made, no harm, no foul. He'll cut Daniel Simmons off again on the exit of turn 2. Now through 3 and 4, Simmons trying to work in that top groove, almost brushes the wall. They remain side-by-side, though, this time coming at it too, and Simmons is going to clear him off too.
Want to go back to the 47, Ryan Hedrick. He needs to finish 5 positions in front of the 57, Joshua Johnson, to overtake him and put himself P12 and onto the way to the round of 12. They both have 0 wins. They both have 0 stage wins. And as long as they both don't lead a lap tonight, there will need to be a... Oh, we got a caution here presented by Roasted Gems Coffee early on lap number 16. As we're going to go back on the Nerd TV replay and take a look exactly what happened here. Looks like Colton Gum in the 10 gets loose, just like we saw a little bit ago. And did not... okay, but he looked like he saved it, but then got so... Was that the 7 of Wayne Grossi that almost collected him?
Yeah, oh my goodness. I thought he was going to whale him right there on the right front fender, but we're going to take a look at the onboard. Look at Wayne Grossi. I'm sure he has no idea this is going to happen. Sees the car low, sees him get loose. He's probably bound with Josh Johnson, not paying attention. All of a sudden, whoa! There's the 10 of Colton. Oh my goodness. Dustin, I want you to work your camera magic and get the exact moment where he was closest to that car and show us, because that was very interesting. I had to say that probably could have been just a couple inches between the 7's left door and the 10's right front fender. So we're going to take a look at it here again. You know, he's battling with Josh Johnson, probably not paying attention, and going into 1 and 2, all of a sudden, there's the 10 of Colton Gum. Going to zoom out. Walter knows what I like. And then oh my God, I don't know. He might have just brushed them, but it didn't look like there was any contact right there between the 7. No damage on the left side. That was so close.
I had an extra camera with me and confirmed there was no contact whatsoever. So excellent job to not overcorrect to the top and run over Joshua Johnson. At the same token, leave himself maybe just enough room to pass the 10 there on the bottom. So good heads up there. 1 car self spin, no damage. So just gonna get some tires and figure this thing out, because you have 4 sets behind the wall, 250 laps to use them, and if it's anything like yesterday, you're gonna have plenty of opportunities to change them. But when do you do so?
Yeah, that's gonna be the question. I mean, obviously, the more cautions we get here, and we talked about this on Wednesday night for the Truck Series, you could stay out longer and longer. and longer. But, I mean, eventually once you start getting that, severe wear on your tires, and these tires not wearing nearly as much as you could say probably with the Xfinity or the Truck Series tire, just because these are that wider, low profile tire. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tire wear really is. I know that there was a lot more tire wear on Saturday night's Cup race than in the last year or so at the short track. So we'll see how the tire situation is here for tonight. Obviously, not an exact replica of the tire they used on Saturday night. There is only a certain tire model for tracks here on iRacing. But one thing to note too, Jeremy, under that last caution is Josh Johnson. I think you mentioned him, came into the pits. He's the guy coming into tonight who held that last transfer spot, sitting in the 12th seed right now, 4 points above both Ryan Hedrick and Tony Solari, who are tied. So we'll see how these 15, 16 laps of green flag racing are going to affect these guys compared to Josh Johnson, who just got newer tires. We'll have to see. I don't see him making up a lot of track position, but you never know.
I love this call because he wasn't too far in the pack, right? He was mid-pack to back of the pack typeness. So he only lost, X amount of positions. And he's one of those guys who needs to be a little secure, right? He's only got a 4-point advantage over 13th, which is outside the bubble of the playoffs. So he needs to find a way. Obviously, the 47's faster. He recognizes that. And he's trying what he can strategy-wise to get himself in position. But here we are. Green flag is out. The 25 is going to have another advantage, basically a car length over the 15, Nicholas Moreau. But they're going to be side-by-side in 1 and 2. No contest to the top. 2 car lengths cleared by the 15 as Nicholas Moreau, wiggles off corner exit. The 84 at Jamie Knopp. Going to try to get a great launch off of 3 and 4 here. Just not enough. The 15 gets an excellent jump off corner exit. Goes to the bottom of the track through 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's under fire, though, from Richie Coy. Jamie Knopp to the outside. Going to try to utilize that outside groove here on the restart to his fullest potential here. Almost brushes the wall on corner exit, but everybody's still chasing that 25 of Stephen Hollingsworth as we ride on board that Hot Wheels chrome colored number 4 of Lang. And through 3 and 4, this 25 car is definitely hooked up. You usually see this 15 machine probably go to the front by now, but it just hasn't happened yet. Richie Coy gets a little loose on the bottom. Very racy stuff up here in the top 5.
Yeah, it's looking really racy right now, and don't want to cut it too close. We're only 26 laps now into this 250-lap race. Richie Coy, a little wiggle off of corner 4. It's going to allow Chad Lang to get the advantage in 1 and 2. Oh, Chad Lang almost door slaps a 19 as he gets loose on corner exit on the outside of 2. They hold side by side through 3 and 4 out the line. The 4 is going to have the 19, and then now trying to overtake the 84 for 3rd.
Noticing, Jeremy, a lot of guys are kind of running that bottom to middle lane. The only ones who are really running that top lane right now are guys who are side by side with somebody to their inside. You see James Wallace, Kyle Milliken, all running that outside, but only because there's drivers like Rob Tracy and the 33 of Williford on their inside. So maybe the outside lane just isn't the lane to be right now. Some guys starting to notice how good it is jumping to the top. But again, you don't really know what the dominant lane is until you start getting a severe amount of wear on these tires.
Yeah, and I don't know, like the next-gen car in general in real life, they don't have much tire wear in comparison to the normal tires on the Xfinity and truck, right? It's much harder tire because it's a low-profile setup, so it can't wear as deep as it can the other ones. And we're kind of seeing right now at the 57, Joshua Johnson, you were curious to know how the tire wear was going to work. He's actually losing ground to Brody Hanna, to Wayne Grossi, everybody else in front of him. So 16-lap fresher tires is a complete no-go so far, as he's got 10 or 15 laps on these tires right now.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. And, the 57 of Josh Johnson just not really making up any kind of ground so far. We'll see how he does, though, obviously, compared to the guys who did stay out there, which is everybody but himself. So I can't see Josh Johnson really making up any kind of ground right now. In fact, he's actually not really as fast as some of the guys up in front of him. Most of these guys are still running 3 to 4, 5 tenths even faster than that 57 machine. But, only time will tell. So we'll see how it is. I just don't know if pitting 15 laps into a run was probably the best call.
Yeah, I want to explore early, right? To get all the questions out of the way. You have your stage break, so you got the opportunity to come down and be like, okay, we now know this doesn't work. So what do we do now to put ourselves in front of that 47 to make sure we secure our entry into the round of 12? I want to give a quick shout out to our series sponsor, Mach-1 Performance, race car fabrication shop that was started by the late Johnny Coy Jr. The shop has produced champions and winners in all sorts of racing divisions, from road circuits like the SCCA to NASA to dirt and pavement oval racing. Visit them on Facebook at facebook.com/Mach-1 Performance today.
Richie Coy right there. You see him. We're riding right beside him in a sense, trying to make a pass on that 4 of Chad Lang, but he's got a back bumper full of Daniel Simmons. Now we ride on board the back bumper of Chad Lang. Simmons tries to peek to the outside, thought about trying to middle the top lane, just not enough, Jeremy. It looks like this bottom lane seems to be the way to go. Now here comes Coy. He'll work down to the inside and open up the... Oh, big checkup out of this 19 right there. Wonder if he got a little loose off turn number 2. We'll have maybe to see if we can get a replay on that, but good recovery by Richie Coy right there.
Richie did get loose in that corner, had a checkup, and Daniel did not see it coming, didn't expect it. Hit him in the back bumper. But if it's short track racing, baby, it's not going to affect your car one bit, as they're all single filed. And we jump to the Nerd TV replay to see that wiggle right there. Gets a little loose in center. The left front tire touches the apron transition. He has to check up so he doesn't overcorrect to the top. It's allowed that forward Chad Lang to get by. But it took Richie a couple laps, and now he's going back on the attack of the 4 of Chad Lang at the start-finish line. He actually gets that position, so he moves himself into 4th that lap.
Lang's now going to fall into the clutches of Daniel Simmons, and good recovery, though, for Richie Coy. And remember, you basically touch that apron here, kind of similar to Martinsville, I want to say. And I obviously know, Jeremy, that this track doesn't have a curbing like Martinsville does with that little curb rumble strip. It's a curb, but they paint it like a rumble strip, obviously, even though it's not. And you touch that rumble strip in quotations, at Martinsville, and you just go right up the track, you'll get loose, and you're going to lose a lot of track position. But here at Bristol, man, you touch that thing, it is hard to save that. Good thing for Richie Coy, though, was able to gather it up, wasn't that bad. But on a side note, though, noticing a lot of guys starting to use this top lane here, and you see Rob Tracy get really loose right there in that 88 machine.
Yeah, as the tires start to, they got their heat right now, and they're going to start to lose some grip, and so you want to use that banking to help the car rotate. You're either going to be really loose or really tight. Not too many guys will find a comfortable car on the bottom, and if they do, they're probably going to be in the upper half of this field. We're 3 wide. Robert Tracy splits the gap, gasses it up, and almost hits the wall trying to clear the outside there. 11 of Tony Solari and Ben Tracy. We're going to go to the Nerd TV replay. I think we're going to take a look at this 3 wide. It just happened right there. A little VHS rewind will send us right back in time. They were single file, 1, 2, 3, bottom, middle, top, 3 wide there. Check up on the 8 to let his family member by, and then Tony Solari. That was a great move there by Robert Tracy to gas it up and still not hit the walls. We got our second caution presented by Roasted Gems Coffee on lap 47. We're going to try to cycle through this field and figure out who exactly was the blame on this one. I see some slow cars. Oh, big pile up here on the front straightaway.
Oh boy, we're about to find out right here what happened. And oh no! Oh no! And oh my goodness! Oh, and Ryan Chapman's involved. Lane Allen runs into the back of the 14. Man, that was a classic Bristol pileup. And that's the thing, Jeremy. This track, we talk about it being a self-cleaning racetrack like Dover. Like Dover, whatever goes down must come up. But in this case, everybody is just kind of sliding around. Nowhere for these guys to go, only being about a 3-lane, even just a 2-lane racetrack. Lots of contact right in front of the leaders. Stephen Hollingsworth and Nicholas. Oh, Moreau got hit by the 23, trying to reverse. Might be some damage to the right front of the 15, possibly. It looked very, very minor. Didn't look like it was hard contact. Just a lot going on here in this wreck right here. Obviously, I believe that was the number... Who was it that came up? Was it the 37? It was the number 99 machine. Danny LaFleur just underestimated on corner exit, came right up. We're going to try to see if maybe we can get one more replay from the 99 to see exactly what happened and then everything transpiring down into turns 1 and 2.
And 7 Wayne Grassi was so close, so once again clearing the wreck on the track, and at the very last moment gets touched in the right rear and just perpendicular, just T-bones the outside wall. But we're going to go on board here. Brian Dublé, corner exit 4. Just Danny LaFleur not giving enough room on exit. hooks himself into the front. There's a group of cars right behind, of course, at this point. There's the contact there from Robert Tracy. Sends him around. And then now that's just all congested at this point. There's Tony Solar in 11, our in-race reporter Ryan Chapman, which terrible luck. And then the 3-win streak there, guy, Mr. 23 Brody Hanna involved in this one too. I think he's going to be A-okay, but that 7-car Wayne Grossi just absolutely destroyed the outside wall. There's see it post damage and then Brody just to set it off one last time. Oh, and more contact there with Lane Allen in the 14.
Yeah, that was a lot of contact, and 2 drivers who have major playoff implications who needed good nights, that being the 11 and the 27 of Solari and Chapman, who were involved in that one. Those were some heavy hitters who were involved in that, Jeremy, but also not only just heavy hitters, guys who just needed to have a good night. And here's the thing about Bristol, and there's so much you could say about it, and I've probably talked faster tonight so far than I have probably all season. And the reason with that being said is just because this track, like Cale Yarborough said many, many years ago, said that this track is like it's like trying to fly a fighter jet in a gymnasium. And you're putting 26, 27 of these guys out here. There's not a lot of room, and there's not a lot of room for give and take. And you have to, really focus on it. And here at Bristol, it's just so hard to get around accidents and whatnot. And I mean, right there, the 25, Stephen Hollingsworth, your leader. Second place, Nick Moreau, last week's winner, was almost involved in that one right there. So Bristol, any kind of controversy can happen at any part on the racetrack, even in front of the leaders. Happened to Ryan Blaney back in 2018, battling with his teammate. We'll have to see if any more of that happens here tonight.
33 laps till stage break. Green flag is out. Same restart here. 25 of Hollingsworth going to be leading the 15 to the line. And once more off turn number 2, rinse and repeat for this 25. Just lights out on these early short runs. Stephen Hollingsworth, if this trend continues, this guy is going to be the one to watch to pick up the checker flag here this evening. Top 5 all single filed at this point. And we're seeing now 4 of Chad Lang race the 42 Kyle Milliken. Off of 1 and 2 this time. The outside prevails. Milliken wants to take a look at the top. Does not get a chance. The 4 reattacks to the bottom as they cross the line here to complete lap 54.
Yeah, and you see Lang trying to run the bottom on Kyle Milliken, but that outside is just so dominant. And the 4's probably thinking to himself, man, I was the only guy doing that here in the beginning of the race. Now everybody's doing it here on these restarts. And he just almost pinches himself right into the sheets machine of Michael Blackner. Good thing and good job on holy sheets, absolutely. And good job by the 4 to not pinch the 87 into the wall right there. Rob Tracy almost gets involved right there, just on the back straightaway, made a little bit of contact with the 87's back bumper. He'll dive down to the bottom now and battle for position with Blackner.
Great racing right here. A little contact, 24 right into the back of the 88. That's Jose Acosta and Robert Tracy. Still 2 by 2 here. The 88 underneath Sherwood Willett from the 33. Looks like he's going to make quick pass effort. Completes it right there. 24 Jose Acosta gets the edge over Michael Blackner in the 87 as he dips down to the inside lane, which it looks like half the field is on the bottom, half is on the top, some are in the middle. Still trying to search around this half-mile track to figure out where they need to be as they're coming up to lap 60. 26 to go before caution stage break.
Some great racing here tonight so far already. Lots of guys beating, banging, battling hard here, knowing what's on the line for the playoff guys, but also knowing it's a win at Bristol, baby. So we'll have to see who just comes out in front of all these guys at the end of this. But some great camera work from our man Dustin here in the production booth. Whoa, Rob Tracy! Way up the track, nearly got into the back bumper of Daniel Simmons, had to whoa it up in the center of 1 and 2, almost had some contact from the rear with Blackner and Milliken, but everybody's still clean and green. Double file into 1 and 2.
2 by 2 by 2 for this battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. They're all stacking up side by side. 4 and the 33 still. Robert Malikian's clear over the 6 of Simmons. Simmons is going to go to the top this time and try to get a nose. Richie Coy, a little check up there on the bottom. Take a look. 19 Richie Coy.
And Richie Coy is just dropping drastically. I don't know if there's something happened to this 19 machine or what. Maybe he's loose, he's tight. right there. He's loose again after clipping the apron on exit of 4. There doesn't look like there's any damage, Jeremy, to it. Oh, this hits the wall. He's able to save it. Into the pits, not
Tucked up
too
in the 3
sure,
and 4
but
there.
what a
They stopped
save.
almost essentially in front of Ben Tracy and the 57 of Joshua Johnson, who does not need to be involved in anything. He gets to go around no problem, but he lost, you know, a couple tenths of a second there for sure, at least. As a lot of these guys now are going single file here as these cars are starting to feel a little ill here as we're getting a little bit closer, under 20 to go before that caution.
I mean to talk no smack, but this 99 of Daniel LaFleur, you think he would have learned from that one incident that he caused off turn number 4. He just absolutely chopped the nose of Stephen Loomis off down the back straightaway on the exit of turn number 2. Nearly caused another wreck right there. That would have been interesting to see. Here it is right here on the Nerd TV replay. 99 gets the run off the corner. This is coming to turn 4, now into turns 1 and 2. He'll get that arc down to the corner. 17's got the run, and watch this, just comes right up into the 17. Contact made. If I were Steve Loomis, I would definitely be probably queuing up over the radio saying you're welcome after that one.
I didn't see it come over, but if it was me or if it was any one of us for that matter, I'm sure our radio button would be pressed and be like, hey, what's going on with that? There's no need for that, man. We're so early into this race still. And not even a third of the way through, and you're chopping my nose off halfway down the back straightaway. Like, a little more space probably, but we're now focusing back on your race lead. Look at that little 3-wide action here. Robert Tracy, this car is picking up speed as the green flag laps keep dropping. And here we go. We're in P2 here. Brian Dublé loose on the front straightaway, going to give all the room to your race leaders. Jose Acosta in the 24 is going to try to look low, almost 3 wide in turn number 2. And man, this race right now for the top 5 is really heating up here.
And definitely, no doubt about it. You see that 88 working to the bottom, probably going to be for the first lead change of the night. Tony Solari smacks the wall. He's into it again, off corner exit. They're 3 wide for a moment. They're able to gather it up. Rob Tracy, Jose Acosta running the bottom of the racetrack, this time down to the front straightaway into 1. Rob Tracy still battling with that 25, while Acosta thought about going to the middle. They're almost 3 wide again. Tracy to the lead now into 3 and 4.
Tracy led that lap by 8 1/1000ths of a second. Now the 25 dropped back to 3rd place. The 24, Jose, looking on the inside, trying to get himself a lap lead here this evening on lap number 76. 3-car separation between the 1st and 2nd place and 3rd and 4th. They continue to increase that lead here as Jose is still putting an immense amount of pressure on Robert Tracy for the race lead.
Why, Jeremy, that this top 3 is the way it is, something we didn't point on, was because some drivers elected to come into the pits last time around, that being Rob Tracy, Jose Costa, Blackner, Ben Tracy, also Daniel LaFleur. That's why he's so fast, cutting people off the corners. Josh Johnson made another pit stop, finally making up some positions, currently P12. So that's why we're seeing kind of a shift in leadership up at the front of this field, with Ben Tracy doing Rob Tracy doing an excellent job holding off one of the newcomers of Jose Acosta, who's been so fast week in and week out. Remember last week at Kansas, wrecked out about early, halfway through the race. Here he is tonight trying to rebound with a win.
That's a great point there. That's why they've advanced up through the field and having their own roller race right now. And for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, Rob Tracy just so dominant at the moment on corner exit here. Has seen Michael Blackner almost making contact with Jose, diving it deep into turn number 1. Does not get it to stick. He's going to lose 3 car lengths on the back straight, coming through 3 and 4 this time. And he's going to continue to lose ground there as Jose now has his eyes focused once more on this 88.
Jose is just sliding up a little too much. I think what he needs to do is probably pick a lane. Not saying he's not, but pick a lane. Don't slide up as much and stick to it. I mean, if he can get to the top and then diamond probably off the corner, I want to say he can make up some ground, probably battle for the lead here. Or heck, just stick to the bottom. I know that the caution's coming out pretty soon. There's lap traffic ahead of him. You have to be careful here. This 24, though, look at that, almost 3 wide for a moment off turn number 4. We have 2 laps to go in this stage, and man, things are heating up here at the front.
It really is. The 47 goes 1 lap down now as Robert Tracy gets around him on the inside lane there. White flag essentially on the stage. Jose trying everything. Just did not enter that corner right, but gets a great launch off corner exit. Does he make the dive to the bottom? Temporarily
He will.
looks, backs up the corner. It's not going to be enough. Robert Tracy picks up his first stage win of the season as he beats Jose Acosta by 0.2 of a second. Michael Blackner third, Stephen Hollingsworth fourth, Ben Tracy fifth, and we're just waiting on the caution to come out. We're staying green, it looks like, as we're now on lap 87. My book showed me lap 85 as the stage. There it is. Late throw, caution's out. Lead did not change, thankfully, and it's now official.
And Jeremy, that was only stage 1, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Stage 1. That was only stage 1, man. Great show here tonight at Bristol so far. I really was expecting probably chaos early on, knock on wood. Obviously, I don't have a tendency here in the Nerd TV booth to kind of be that commentator's curse kind of guy. I don't want to be that way here tonight, but what great racing we're having here up at the front. I cannot wait for the second half of this race.
Excellent stuff for sure here, and we're going to take it to our first picture-in-picture commercial break of these guys going to go down pit road, get all their virtual Goodyears on their cars. We'll be back shortly before the drop of the green flag for Stage 2. And back to full screen here as these guys have all made their pit stops, and we just got a couple laps before we're going to go back to green flag racing to start off stage number 2. And I think we're going to try to bring in our stage 1 winner, the number 88 of Rob Tracy. It looks like we found him in his team channel. We're going to try to bring him up and see what we can't talk to him about. So give me just a moment to pull him in here. There we go. Rob Tracy, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Jeremy, how you doing? I got you.
Hey, man, we're doing pretty good. Excellent job there. Congrats on stage 1. Strategy played a huge factor in you doing that. Just a quick question. Is that something you can do later in the race, and how do you feel like stage 2 is going to go for you?
Well, hopefully we can hold our own here, and I don't think I have the car to win right now, but maybe I'll make another adjustment in the next pit stop. But yeah, strategy got me out front there, and I just took advantage of it, and hopefully the tires hold out, and if something happens later in the second stage, then well, it's had to do the same thing.
All right, man, we're going to move back down. Good luck the rest of the way.
Green flag, green flag.
And that was Rob Tracy there, part of LA Motorsports. And I think we threw him off a little bit with that late call. He had to do a late shift there to get himself into the correct row there in row 3. But he's going to take off there. Not sounding like he has too high of a hopes, but if that car continues to be the way it is, he might have a decent shot, Jason.
Heck, I think that we all got caught off guard right there. Obviously, this track, it's basically looks the exact same on each end of the racetrack. pretty similar. Besides, if you look at it from an aerial view actually here, maybe we can actually pull up the track map for just a second just to see at what I'm talking about here. Look at that. See, the back straightaway kind of goes outwards, and then 3 and 4 is a little bit wider than 1 and 2. That's why you feel like you could probably make the best passes, the best acceleration in the corners there. Oh, we got trouble in the back. It looks like Robert
22.
being up the racetrack slides. Nobody collected there. I'll go back to that point here in just a minute, but what a save out of the 22 machine, man. That thing was definitely looking like it was going to be Corey LaJoy here, like it was on Saturday night, but he locked it down. Nobody involved. Hannah, Allen, Dublé all got around. Take a look here at the replay, VCR rewind, and just gets loose, Jeremy. Something we've seen all night long here, and it's really only been off turn number 4, going back to that point about how 3 and 4 is a little bit wider. You can get back to the gas a little bit earlier compared to 1 and 2, which is way more narrower than 3 and 4. So that's probably why the 22 went around there, just a little too much throttle there on exit.
Yeah, that's the third car we've seen get loose enough to go down to the bottom and almost overcorrect onto the racing surface. And that was an excellent job there by Robert to not slide up the track. As soon as he realized he was starting to point back upwards, he locked it down and held the brake all the way until the car stopped. And it kept the car from washing up the track. So just a huge move there to keep that car not hitting anybody else. Of course, he's going to lose all the spots and probably had to take tires. I didn't check for sure. But, you know, just great job overall to not cause a big wreck there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, here's you go real quick. Martin Sports, lucky dog, get a grip award there. Brian Dublé, tough night so far for him, but you never know. We've seen cars go from the back to the front like we did on Wednesday night. It could happen here depending on the amount of cautions, the amount of damaged race cars we have at the end of this thing. But going back on that 22 machine, it's a good thing he saved it, because I mentioned the Corey LaJoy kind of thing, because obviously we saw that 7 car get very loose off turn number 4 on Saturday night. Seemed like he was going to correct it, then all of a sudden the thing just snapped on him, hit that inside wall, came right back up the track, the 7 did, and collected a bunch of guys. I believe it was the 51, the 22. Kevin Harvick got a piece of it. But that's the thing with Bristol. You know, we've seen countless times over and over again. You see Brody Hanna come into the pits this time by trying to repair some more damage probably to his number 23 FTSR Ford Mustang, where this track has a tendency kind of like Dover, but because of the amount of banking on the front straightaway at Dover, everything that goes up must come down. But with Bristol, it's very odd because of how short the track is, being, you know, a half mile compared to Dover being a 1 mile, is you get sideways and you hit that inside wall and the car just kind of jolts back up the racetrack right in front of traffic. We've seen it many, many occasions. One in particular, Denny Hamlin, Dale Earnhardt Jr. back in 2014. Hamlin and Harvick battling for the lead, all 4. Hamlin bumps Harvick, gets down into the inside wall, comes back up, rips the left side door off the 88 machine. That's just a product here at Bristol, unfortunately, is usually whenever you come off these corners and wreck, you're usually wrecking all the way until the next end of the racetrack here.
Yeah, 100% there. We're going to do a quick shout out to our partner, Dusty Pete's official hobby store, The Nerditudes. It's a hobby shop with a whole lot more. Based out of New York, they're your one-stop stop for all things nerdy. So if collecting is the game, Dusty Pete's is the name. They have action figures, collectible cards, die-cast replicas, huge collection of comics. So anything nerdy that you want to complete your collection with, first place you need to go check out is Dusty Pete's at dustypete's.com. Use that promo code SuperNerd's going to save you 10% off anything you do purchase from dustypete's.com. Pace car is down. Stephen Hollingsworth, 25, going to restart this race again, and P1 green flag is out. To his inside is the number 8 of Ben Tracy. Going to run really low on the bottom, not going to have any chance here. Jose Acosta going to quickly go past as the 8 slides off the track just a touch there. No contact. They're side by side, allowing the 25 to get a 5-car length advantage at the line.
And we've seen, Josh Johnson into the wall off turn number 4, back up into the field almost. Saves it, man. What a job. I don't even know if the 57 made any contact. Oh, yeah, he definitely did. You can see the left front right there. That thing is pushed in pretty good. Left side's got all scrapes on it, man. that 57 is absolutely hurting. And remember, Jeremy, this is a guy who was right on the bubble coming into tonight, needing a good night, and just gets loose again off turn number 4.
Yeah, he needs to be 5 spots, or he needs to have Ryan Hedrick within 5 spots or less, or 4 spots or less, my apologies there, to not get passed by Ryan Hedrick. And at the line that last time by, there's 5 positions separating the 47 and the 57. So you cannot have a mistake, and he made one. Maybe he can get a break and not be affected by that contact, but right now, being 5 to 6 spots back, it puts him outside P13 on the boards with a 1-point separation, giving the advantage to the 47.
Yeah, definitely something we're going to have to keep an eye on as Ryan Hedrick continues to try to just muscle his way up to the field, kind of struggling a little bit with that. -2. Oh, the 99 does it again. Clips the 87. They're 3 wide into 1 and 2. 4 wide now. Back to 2. Oh, and now he's going to make contact. But he goes in front of Ryan Hedrick. Collects Sherwood Williford, Steve Loomis, Lane Allen, Brody Hanna involved. Jamie Knopp as well on the exit of turn 2, heading for turns 3 and 4. And again, another corner is Calamity Corner here at Bristol.
Man, are you kidding me? That's going to affect the 47 of Ryan Hedrick, the other guy that's trying to make it in here. In the second caution now produced by the 99, Danny LaFleur. Actually, you know what? The 67 comes down a little bit this time. I think he's going to initiate that, as we're going to maybe take another look at that initial contact, but it sends Danny up to the top of the track right in front of championship hope 47, Ryan Hedrick. And then it sets off another chain reaction. It's a short track, and yeah, this 99 gets hit quite bad by the 14. Look how quick his car just rotates.
Yeah, that was really hard. So 2 things about that wreck. Number 1, hell of a job by Rob Tracy to not get involved in that. I don't know if he got a little bit of a kiss to the right rear quarter panel, but he just barely made it through that. Definitely should have been right hooked into the wall. Thankfully was not. But then off turn number 2, you're going to see this 99 right here. He's going to get a little bit loose. The 67's coming down, yeah, but the 99 ultimately gets loose and just starts sliding up into the 67.
Sure
Nothing he can really do. And then ultimately these 2 just get hooked up together, and then their wheels touch. They bang, they bump, and then the 99's trying to correct it, but he's already head on into the outside wall with that right front fender. Comes down, almost touches that 88, and then Sherwood Williford comes in. Lane Allen absolutely arca breaks the 99 machine, just comes plowing in there, destroys that 99 Transit machine. Ryan Hedrick, then Brody Hanna, Jamie Knopp, Brian Dublé looking out in front of his windshield going, man, what the hell do I got to do to get around this time? Man, what a wreck going into 3.
Yeah, no kidding. And 3 or 4 of the same exact guys in that last big wreck were involved in this one. That being the 23, Hannah, the 14, Lane Allen, the 99, and Danny LaFleur. I wasn't sure if the 33 was involved in that last one, but he got some contact in there as well with 84, Jamie Knopp, who was up in the front half of this field to open this race up. And then he's been in the back after his latest pit stops. And we see on board here the 88, Robert Tracy, stage winner. Looks up and just barely clears Danny as he's going back down the track. And man, what was that, about 5 inches or so?
I'm Harry. That's all he could say right now going into 3 and 4, because I bet you his life probably flashed before his eyes there virtually heading into turn 3, man. When you see a car get sideways like that here at Bristol, especially, you know, when you think about it compared to like Daytona, Talladega, man, it is a rarity to come out of one of those incidents and not be involved in it when you are literally in the middle of the pack trying to get through that thing, man. It is very rare that happens. So that get a grip award, no lucky dog necessary, but that Ben Tracy machine, man, what a job to not be able to get, I keep saying Ben Tracy, I meant Rob Tracy there, to get through that, not be involved. That 88 is running very strong tonight, Jeremy. I am very impressed by Rob Tracy's performance.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job for sure. Shout out to him for continuing just to be really quick here. But as these cautions seem to fall, let's see if he can play that same strategy to get himself into a position where he can at least get a top 5, because so far it is well deserved for the 88 of Robert Tracy. But we're going to see this pace car come down pit road any second here. Stephen Hollingsworth going to be restarting this thing once more in first place. This is going to be the 6th time he's going to do this from P1. Green flag is out. and he gets another car length advantage over the number 8 Ben Tracy going to the turn 1 and 2. The 6 is going to have a great launch here over the 15, going to be for 3rd place. Oh, but the 8 Ben Tracy put a huge block on Daniel Simmons. Is going to check him up, allow the 15 to give him that room. P3 for the 15.
Here comes the hey, what's up, nerds? That being Richie Coy, finally starting to make his way back up through this field after being very loose on those old tires just a handful of cautions ago. Now finds himself back inside the top 10, currently trying to get into the top 5 right now. Oh no, Rob Tracy around front straightaway into the wall, brings out another Roasted Gems Coffee caution flag. Just was talking about the guy, man, and it looks like that 88 machine is definitely hurting. See some left side damage, I believe. That thing could be killed here.
Yep, you cursed him. And this is like the 4th time now we've seen a car of turn 4 self-spin, and this is one of the worst ones we've seen yet. Here's we're going to watch him on the bottom of 3 and 4. Just gets loose. That weight transfer, the banking transition, just sets off these next-gen cars, it looks like more so than any other, and heavy impact to that left side of that car.
And, you think, Jeremy, too, with these wider tires, not being able to get as much wear on them with that rear diffuser as well, providing more rear downforce to the cars, that this wouldn't happen. But just because of how sensitive these cars are with what we've been talking about a lot all season long, Jeremy, with these wrecks that we have with the overcorrections and getting loose, is that rack and pinion steering, man. It is so hard to save one of these cars because of how sensitive they are aerodynamically, and not only just aero dependency wise, but just because of certain moves you can't exactly make with these cars like you were able to with the Gen 6. You see Ryan Hedrick, he'll get your Martin Sports hashtag Get a Grip Lucky Dog award here tonight, something that is very, very necessary for him if he wants to advance into the round of 12 here tonight. So with that being said, man, I just don't know. I think we're going to keep on seeing more and more cars getting loose off these corners. And the thing is, too, real quick, this track temperature is not very hot. Only about 80, 81 degrees right now. 82, actually. So it's not really that hot out here, man. It's just these things, they're just lacking grip.
Yeah, that's just the product of probably the stiff tires and the stiff suspension and the weight transfer and everything. It's just kind of setting these cars off. And see Jeff Chandler on the YouTube saying, I kind of digging my safe seat here in the stands, LOL. And being 6 cautions in, not even at halfway yet, you probably have the best seat in the house for sure, man. So good job on not showing. I'm just kidding. We wish you were here. But yeah, to touch on that 47, getting that lucky dog, that's huge, right? It puts him back on the lead lap, of course. But the person he's trying to pass, his teammate, the 57, Joshua Johnson, the first car 2 laps down. And of course, the 47 has the lead now, the lead lap. So if he can pass 2 to 3 more cars, he's in. And of course, Joshua Johnson can't do anything until he gets some lucky dog breaks. So he's kind of stuck. So if 47 can get his car just a little bit better, he's going to set himself up for a championship run here later in this race.
Well, here's the thing. Right before we take this one to go to the green flag, one thing to note. We already know 2 drivers who are going to be eliminated here after tonight. Unfortunately, Tony Solari, Ryan Chapman, they are out of this race now, man. They are 38, 57 laps down right now. In 22nd and 23rd. They will not be advancing to the round of 12 here tonight. So that's already 2 guys that Ryan Hedrick has off of his shoulders here, knowing, all right, I only need to worry about 2 guys. I need to worry about Josh Johnson, and I need to worry about, Sherwood Williford. And Sherwood's having a good night. Despite being involved in about 1 or 2 wrecks, he's sitting in the top 10 right now. So he's sitting pretty. But obviously the opportunity for more and more yellows being on the horizon, possibly, we could see this 47 machine somehow catch a lucky break and have maybe the next half of this field here wreck later on in this race.
He's a Robert Tracy pit stop, put himself in position for at least the top 10 in bingo. He is in. Pace car is down. It's going to be the 7th start of this race. And once again, the 25 and the 8 are going to lead this thing to the green. And the 25, Hollingsworth, just been the best restart person all night long so far. Starting on the top half of the track, gets a great launch, and Daniel Simmons out of nowhere passes the 8 car, and he's going to clear himself by 4 car lengths over the 15 and the 8. As Jeff Chandler back on the chat saying the car feels sprung loaded sometimes, especially on the late transition off the corner, that they all of a sudden just unload. And it just what he means by that is the car feels kind of secure until corner exit, and it just it just unloads that load in the car, of course, and it just shoots it sideways. So something that a lot of these drivers are obviously having struggles with, and when it happens, it's really hard to correct it back and keep it going straight.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jeff, by the way, and I really do applaud him, obviously, giving us some more insight here, being our YouTube and race reporter, if you could say. And you know what the thing is, too, Jeremy, is we saw that a lot back at Darlington. If you go back to on the exit of Turn 2, where that car, all of a sudden, with the transition from a very stiff and rough and rocky banking off 2 to all of a sudden a few bumps and humps off Turn 2, down to that back straightaway. We saw a lot of guys in the Cup race a few weeks ago here for the FTSR guys get very loose, hit the inside wall. We didn't have any cautions because of it, but it just kept happening repeatedly over and over and over again. And it was like an endless get loose off 2 and hit the wall, and it just never was ending. And it's going to happen again, Chad.
No.
Around into the wall almost, but he keeps it going. Don't believe that's going to be too much damage to the Ford machine. He was able to whoa it up just enough to just basically kiss that inside safer barrier with the left front. But again, a perfect example of that load going off the corners with that transition right there. The Ford gets loose again. Basically what's happening.
Yeah, Lang raised his hand in the classroom and said, "I want to be show and tell." So you
That's
told him
funny.
about it, and then he showed you exactly what it looks like. So, but no caution for him. That's the first time we've seen him someone hit the inside wall and not produce a caution. So now he's got over 10 seconds to get back up to where he was on the track just a lap and a half ago. As you see the track map there, there's that 4 car all by himself on the front straightaway. The rest of the field going through 3 and 4 and down the back straightaway. So this top 5, top 4 have really spaced themselves out. This is the first time we've really seen a strung out field at 130 laps in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I want to touch too on one driver who's been doing pretty good here tonight, obviously, and that being James Wallace. We don't really talk about him all that much. I remember when I first came onto the Nerd TV scene, I believe he finished top 3 at Phoenix for my first race with you guys. And really, we haven't seen him much since. He was very strong early on in my broadcasting career over here. But ever since then, it's kind of just like he comes and goes, you don't really see him all that much, and sometimes he races, sometimes he doesn't, but when he does race, he's kind of a mid-pack driver, has a lot of bad luck, and tonight's a night where he's doing a really good job in that 67 machine. I really hope he's able to get a top 10. He's already up 14 spots from where he was at being the biggest mover of the race, and you see him right now trying to go to the outside of Richie Coy. He'll make it work and try to go after Steve Loomis, currently in the 6th position.
Yeah, James Wallace, at least in 2022, was just really fast, had a long run car like no other. You always count him to be there at the end, but 2023, the competition has just picked up so much. It just looks like he hasn't got to the point like some others have competition-wise with their setups. And so, but this is a good showing for James Wallace right now. Hopefully he does continue this back half of this race and produce a top 10 finish. I'm sure that'll put a smile on his face for sure here. And right now, being in 7th place, he has a good chance of doing so.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt about it. And to touch on another guy too, I mean, Stephen Hollingsworth. Look at him right now, man. This is his first season here in the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series, obviously. And I mean, he's been doing such a good job here in that 25 Folgers machine. I know on the FTSR site, he's got Tim Richmond as his profile picture for his driver profile. He's driving that Folgers car, infamously made, famous in the NASCAR world by Tim Richmond, who used to drive that 25 Folgers machine for Rick Hendrick. And he's showing him right here up at the front of this field. Man, this guy's best finish is only 5th, and that came just a handful of weeks ago back at Daytona. And previously before that, the 2 weeks prior, 6th and 6th again at Watkins Glen, Indianapolis. What a night it would be if Hollingsworth was to go to victory lane here tonight, holding off a very, very strong and stout field.
This would be huge. A lot of momentum to the Stephen Hollingsworth camp if he can definitely get this victory here tonight and look like he is one of the best chances all season long to get the job done. I'm going to shift gears back to 7th place on back. All these cars that were separated are now just in line with one another, nose to tail for 7 spots back here. Getting really racy here. They're all single file now, but here in just a couple laps, I would imagine these guys are going to be too wide all over.
Probably more than likely. I mean, with how racy it was, to say the least. I mean, look at these guys nose to tail right now. James Wallace puts a little bit of a bumper to the back of Loomis on corner exit. Now they're too wide. Coy and Acosta there on the bottom while everybody else runs that top side, trying to keep that momentum train going. But the second somebody gets loose, gets tight, kind of stalls out that outside lane, that inside lane becomes the more dominant one. Just with the amount of cars up there, I don't think they're going to make too much progress. I mean, right there, the 17 got loose, got into Richie Coy. Definitely holding up those guys on the top, no doubt about it, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit. Jose's going to make the pass here. Oh, really checked up the outside of the 17 of Loomis during turn 3. Going through 4 this time. 47 of Hedrick's kind of a great chance to clear his teammate, James Wallace. Gets through 1 and 2. Definitely makes the pass if he wants it, but that momentum from the top is going to bring him back at least one more time here. 3 and 4th, it's all said and done here. 47 gets that spot, which he needs it. He needs it way more than his teammate here. So any positions gained for the 47 is going to be a positive note. And Steve Loomis in the 17 is helping him out.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job right now. That being Steve Loomis here tonight. He's been mostly up inside the top 10, but starting to fall back just a little bit as Ryan Hedrick heads down to the bottom of the racetrack now. And what a run for Ryan Hedrick currently ever since the green flag started. Remember, he got that Lucky Dog Award presented by Martin Sports. And ever since then, I mean, he's been picking up positions left and right. You see him right now trying to chase down Jose Acosta, Richie Cool, who battle side by side. This is a night where Ryan Hedrick needed to capitalize, just have a solid night to try to advance into the next round. And it's looking like that as long as Sherwood Williford keeps running the way he is, and also Josh Johnson, who's still 2 laps down, mired back in traffic in 17th.
As he clears the 17 here and takes off. What a launch off turn 2. Gains 5 car lengths or more just on the backstretch alone there. And now the 33 is getting around 17 as everybody else figures out to go to the bottom around him, as he was the one holding the top lane up here. 33 is clear. Robert Maluki in the 22. He's going to take a look now to the inside of Steve here as they continue to pass them. It's going to now bring their attention to, looks like 4th place, 5th place here. 84 Jamie Knopp, who has 20 lap fresher tires over the 8, makes a quick work of him. It's going to put himself into P3 at the line this time. So Jamie Knopp with the fresh set of tires compared to everybody else. Let's see what he can do to get to the top 3.
Yeah, about 21 lap fresher tires than the rest of this field. Then you get back the next couple drivers who are fresher tires, Jose Costa, Ryan Hedrick. That's why they're starting to make their way up through this field. I think Jamie Knopp's probably going to get there eventually, but right now he's running around the same lap time as Nick Moreau. The front 2, though, are running 15.3s compared to the 15.1s ran by Moreau and Knopp. And that's just how it is here at Bristol. Different strategies play a factor. That also is why you see so many drivers fighting, battling side by side here. I definitely think it's going to be something we're going to have to look at later on in this race when the potential of strategy comes into play. I mean, if and when, well, not if and when, but if this race does in fact go green all the way to the end, we could be seeing multiple different strategies just because of the tire cycles from some of these guys. Lap 89, lap 112, lap 118, lap 118, lap 119. I think I just repeated myself, but you get what I'm saying here. It's going to be highly unlikely that this race does in fact go green all the way to the end, but you never know.
Yeah, and we're going to take our picture-in-picture commercial break here. We have 70 laps old tires in the front of the field right now. So at any moment, we're expecting to come down pit road, but we're going to take our picture-in-picture break, be back here momentarily. And back to full screen here as we saw the 25 have a little action caused by himself there. Hits the wall off the center of 1 and 2, which in some cases can be beneficial here at Bristol. But this field is starting to stack up behind him, Jason. We see the 15 Nicholas Moreau, who was not really in contention here up until now for the race lead, that is. But now he's directly side by side. Cannot get the power down. Almost loses it through that unload thing that we talked about. With multiple drivers doing all night long. Sides himself back almost in front of the 06. Makes an effort, goes back to the bottom here, and choo-choo train to the top side.
Man, and what a hell of a battle we've had here within this top 6. I mean, look at this. 6 cars under a blanket at Bristol. Out of all places, when you think about it here, this has been just such a fantastic race, and I talked about it right there while we went to picture-in-picture mode. Oh, Daniel Simmons hooks the 15 in the wall. Nicholas Moreau right in front of the 6 leaders. Looks like that's going to be... Oh, he's going to come back up the track. Don't hit him. Oh, my gosh. My heart dropped not once, but twice. Holy cow.
The biggest air pocket I've seen between 2 cars. Sends the 15 around here off corner exit 4. There's the air transfer there, if you will, sends the 15 into the outside wall. And of course, that's right in front of a big group of cars. And it's going to be our 3rd multi-car wreck here this evening. Slow motion. Watch the 06 and the 15. There's the pointer there. It's not the yellow marker. Actually, I was a little bit closer on your screen. So definitely some contact for sure. Sends him around. 84, Jamie Knopp. Look how close he got. He dives down to the bottom. Richie Coy, 19. Escapes, crossing down the track. That's always a scary sight. Thankfully, there's enough gap between the field. And we're going to go on board here, it looks like, with Jamie Knopp here in the 84. There's the looseness actually from the 06 that caused that 15 to go around.
Yeah, that was really, I think, Jeremy, just the product of, just hard racing. Nobody really at fault. I mean, the 06 got a little loose. 15 kind of came up, held his line, but put the 06 in a very, not in a sense, a vulnerable spot, but just kind of pinched in a sense. And, there's not really so much room that you can get when everybody's trying to get the same arc down into 1 and 3. So really no harm, no foul. I mean, the 15 kind of came up, I think, a little bit aggressively, but the 06 was also getting loose. So no harm, no foul. Really just 2 guys going at it. Heartbreaker, though, for the 15 machine. But just with the amount of guys that are only on the lead lap right now, that being 16 from what it looks like, I think Nicholas Moreau might be okay here. Maybe Daniel Simmons as well, but we'll have to see here once they get back going.
Yeah, 100% there. And this is going to take us away from seeing our first green flag set of pit stops. And I think at this point forward, they do not have to pit the rest of the way. We are seeing 80 to 90 laps there on that single fuel run. And right now being on lap 177, races 250, that's going to put us under 90 laps to go. So from this point forward, it's either you're going to pit under caution or you're going to be staying out. So this is going to be interesting. If there's any more cautions, who pits and at what time to take their last set of tires, because I know half this field is at least 1 or 2 set of tires away from being dry behind the wall.
Yeah, no doubt about it here, Jeremy. I mean, one guy who's already taken all 4 sets of Goodyear Eagles here tonight, just by the looks of it, we can assume, not saying he has taken all 4. We obviously don't have that information, but I mean, just from our pit counter lap, or not pit counter lap, but our pit count number here on the SDK Gaming live timing and scoring, Jose Acosta's pitted 4 times. So has Ryan Hedrick. Looking also Michael Blackner. It looks like those guys who are all on the lead lap, they have all taken what could have been their last set of tires behind the wall. Like you said, Jeremy, they started with, that set on 4 behind the wall, that being 5 total sets, 4 in the pits. They might have taken their final set. So I think these guys are hoping and praying this race goes green. And if that's the case, man, I think these guys are going to be crap out of luck if we do get a few laps under green. And then just so happen to get a caution, because you could imagine that these guys who do have a set or 2 behind the wall, they're going to utilize it for sure, no doubt about it. With only 16 cars on the lead lap, they could drive through this field like we saw Rob Tracy do earlier, like we've seen Ryan Hedrick do, Jose Acosta, Jamie Knopp, just to name a few guys. Tires are definitely going to be the name of the game here later on, and if we do have any more yellows.
Quick mention, the 23 Brody Hanna was your lucky dog #GetAGrip award winner. As we're going to go back to green flag here, and oh so often we've seen this 25 start P1. This time the 06 Daniel Simmons is going to make an effort and quickly gets shut down there as Hollingsworth has just been the king of restarts. But look at Jose just coming right to the back bumper of Steven here entering turn 3. Steven runs the low side this time off corner exit. I think the 8 of Ben Tracy lightly hits the outside wall on that Sunoco Chevrolet Camaro. No harm, no foul though. Going through the field here a little bit, 6-7 James Walls to the outside of Malikian in turn 3 and 4 this time around. They're going to complete lap 182.
And you see right there, that being the 8 of Ben Tracy, got way high up off turn number 4. Just a lap ago, was able to gather it back up. He battles now with Nick Moreau and Daniel Simmons, whose cars don't look that bad, honestly, despite the damage that happened going in off turn number 4. They didn't really make too much contact, but it definitely was a shot to the 15 into that outside wall, and definitely some front end damage for the 06 machine. Taking a look here at the replay, Josh Johnson, and oh man, just bites it again off the corner, and that was eerily similar to his wreck that he had earlier, except he got way more sideways when he went back up the track and won.
Yeah, that was so similar, but a little bit worse off this time. And yeah, man, right now, Ryan Hedrick, his teammate, is 6 positions ahead of him, or 5 really, 5. So right now, +1 advantage to that 47 making the pits, or making to the playoffs, and Joshua Johnson being 7 laps down. I think we're going to count this all but out unless the 47 has an issue or falls back late into this run. So 47 needs to realize he needs to be on his game to outrun his teammate going to the round of 12. But it is really racy around him. Right in front of him, there's a lot of 2x2 racing, solid racing here. This is just around the 10th place.
Yes, some great action here tonight, like we talked about earlier on. Oh no, Ben Tracy into the wall now off turn number 4. He'll back it down. He's able to maintain and stay on the apron. Good recovery by him, but definitely a heck of a hit to that inside wall. And the 8 of Ben Tracy looks like his night could be over here with some heavy contact at left side. Just gets loose again, Jeremy, off turn number 4. And notice it's only off turn number 4. It's not off turn 2. We are yet to see a car go around off turn number 2, man. This has just been a wild night off turn 4. I tell you what, if you're a virtual fan and NPC sitting in that turn 4 grandstand, man, you bought one heck of a ticket here tonight for these FTSR guys, because you are getting all the action.
No kidding, right? And Jeff Chandler comes up on the YouTube saying, I found 2 solutions to it, so a little bit late there for number 8 there, but one was slight, the other was a major. Oh, we actually didn't actually give it up. I'm reading this in live time here. One's a slight fix, one's a major fix, which is easy to overlook. So it's not even with the chassis. So Jeff Chandler has a solution. I don't know if he wants to give that up late in the going here, but yeah, that's so hard, man. Just turn 4. It's just, it doesn't matter. I know turn 1 and 2, you tried to point this out earlier, and I don't know if you actually finished your point, Jason, but turn 1 and 2 were over 180 degrees of rotation before you go back to the straightaway. Turn 3 and 4, you're under 180 degrees of rotation. So less cornering. That might have something to do with why turn 4 is a lot more slick than turn 2.
Yeah, definitely believe that too, Jeremy, and I did finish my point, and I mean, heck, we could bring it up again. That's a perfect. See, look at that. Walter knows everything that I want right now. I didn't even have to ask for it. Yeah, he didn't even have to. He didn't even have to. But here we go. 1 and 2, you see it a lot more narrower than 3 and 4. It's a lot wider, kind of longer in a sense. That probably is why we talked about just before too. You get back to the throttle too much, and you know Jeff Chandler in the YouTube chat said just kind of a transition thing with the load and stuff, and that's definitely a factor too. But also getting back to the gas a lot earlier than you could off turns 1 and 2, just because of how much narrower it is. And it's still starting to bite people. We just saw it with Ben Tracy. It almost just happened to the guy we talked about, just needing to kind of finish out strong, being Ryan Hendrick. He got loose off turn 4 a couple of laps ago, was able to save it. Definitely think that we're probably going to see this more and more.
Jeff Chandler said nope to my question, so I tried at least, man. I tried. These guys are having such a struggle with it. Figured maybe I give a little insight here if they're even watching. I doubt that, because they're having enough focus on the racetrack as is. Because we got a huge group of cars here, just nose to tail still, unless you're Stephen Hollingsworth, 1.5 second lead or between 1 and 1.5 second lead over the 24 Jose Acosta, which is the first time we've seen a single car break away from the entire field. So Steven has found something here late in this race. We're on lap 2, or completed 200 laps, 50 laps to go in this event. And yeah, I had that backwards when I said it the first time. Turn 3 and 4 have more rotation in it, not less. And so I guess that somehow transfers that weight differently than 1 and 2. But for me, I have not found that personally, but everyone drives the car a little bit different, and that's why some are excelling and some are not.
For sure, no doubt about it. You see a great battle going on right here between Richie Coy and I believe that's James Wallace in the 67. It is off 3 and 4. It looks like Coy's going to try to clear him, almost pinches him up into the wall. This is the battle for the 3rd spot for the podium, so some great battling right here. Also brings in Jamie Knopf right behind those 2 drivers. So if these guys get side by side one more time, or take that and throw it out the window, Jamie Knopf is going to go side by side this time with James Wallace entering 1 and 2.
Dustin, our producer, bringing some awesome camera angles as of recently, and I've really been enjoying this somewhat free-floating drone camera in a way. I'm not sure exactly what you want to call it, but it just looks so good around Bristol because that drone can essentially just hang tight in the middle of the track and get all the views possible. I'm going to give a quick shout-out to one of our partners at the Butt Kicker. It offers innovative hardware and software designed to give passionate gamers a deeper level of gaming immersion. The Gamer 2 unit, which is the standard in sim racing immersion. It's a haptic transducer. It easily attaches to any center post of any gaming chair or sim rig. It gives you that much needed feel from the race card that really help you perform at your peak performance. See their entire product line at thebuttkicker.com.
Tell you what, Jeremy, for anybody who has the butt kicker in this race tonight, man, they are definitely feeling a nice kick in the butt from the butt kicker here tonight. But hey, it's Bristol. Yeah, they're basically, in a sense, they're getting their ass kicked in a sense. That exactly, Dustin, no doubt about it. And I want to point out something totally off topic, but I guess in the same topic of what we were just talking about, Jeremy. If Dustin, we can go back to that drone cam one more time. I tell you what, I don't know why NBC or Fox doesn't think about doing this, because this is the perfect place to probably run a drone cam, man. I mean, it just looks perfectly, even from the center of the racetrack. I know obviously this is iRacing. We can do so much here with these cameras and camera packs with the free roam, availability that we have. But even from the center of the racetrack, the fact that they don't really use something like that in the center right there behind in the infield pit wall behind it, kind of really surprised me. I think it would be a great opportunity. So maybe we can see that in the future in any NASCAR broadcasts.
They use plenty of drones, and you make a great
Oh, yeah.
point. They could definitely do something like this. And also, when you said that, also reminded me, when you watch NFL games, they have that cable that runs from grandstand to grandstand on each side of the field, and they have that camera that just zooms from left and right at the play line. You could do something like that, too, where you could see them go past and then come back at you at the very next lap, or half lap, rather. So there could be a couple different things that we could, let them know of that they could utilize. And we won't charge them, right? But you see this big little race here, 67, 4, 47. They're all 2x2 here trying to get their cars into position here to finish this race out here as we're under 40 laps to go in this event.
Hey, they used to do it at the super speedways like the Daytona 500 back in the day. I think they could probably do it. But yeah, some great racing we got going on here, and we're approaching just coming up to 30 laps to go, man. It's getting to race time pretty much now, and I want to say I believe that was probably the final time those guys were going to pit if this race does in fact go green. And I just love the fact that we're having racing like this here tonight, right on your screen, top 3, nose to tail. Nobody has been able to get away more than about a second here tonight, and Stephen Hollingsworth, he has done one hell of a job here tonight in this race lead, practically dominating. Jose Coss has been up there. We've had battles for the lead, but nobody can seem to get around this 25 unless they have fresher tires than the guy, man. I mean, it's just unbelievable the amount that I almost said Stephen Wallace. Yeah, let's not compare Stephen Hollingsworth to Stephen Wallace, because yeah,
Please
exactly. Because I bet you Stephen Hollingsworth could probably wheel and deal a hell of a lot better than Stephen Wallace ever could. But hey, no hate to Stephen Hollingsworth. He's doing a hell of a job here tonight, but you see that 24 inching closer and closer to his back bumper here as we ride on board the back bumper cam. There's the inside pass, contact made, off corner exit off 4. First battle for the day, making contact again, going into 1 and 2, almost sending each other around, hard racing and battling late in the going here at Bristol. It's awesome.
What a brave move by Stephen Hollingsworth. He got contact made to him on the exit of 4. He roughed him down the door panel, down the front straightaway, and it actually set him up for a great position to protect that P1 spot right now, able to re-clear Jose here. And you made a point just after a second lead, which Hollingsworth had, which was the biggest of any lead all night, quickly got diminished as the long run has seemed to be the shortfall once again from Steven, who now has to play the defense mode the rest of the way here for the next 27 laps. Jose has a great chance of getting his first W here at FTSR, but he has to pass a Ryan Newman, so to speak, which 25 is making himself really hard to pass here late in the going.
Tell you what, Jeremy, you know who's absolutely loving this right now is that guy in third right now, Richie Coy. Oh, he's
no.
sideways.
No, he's not.
You gotta be kidding me. But hey,
Oh, no.
Oh no, he's broke a toe link. He has a toe link broken, I think. That car is well off the pace. The 19 machine is well off the pace. I think, Jeremy, when he overcorrected right there and hit the right front, it broke one of the toe links in the right front, maybe knocked out the powered steering, possibly, if that's even still a thing with these next gens. I have no idea. But, man, that thing was, oh, my gosh, what a heck of a hit to the outside wall for Richie Coy. That's ultimately probably going to cost him the race right here.
Yeah, it's costing him. His car is underperforming, getting loose all over the place. I think it didn't break the link, but it's definitely bent it, and he's definitely feeling the effects quickly dropping back here.
Oh, boy, that's heavy damage.
He's hanging tight right now, but that car got way more loose. There's something messed up in the steering for sure in that 19.
That was heavy damage to that right front of the 19 machine. And I just can't believe that. We were talking about him, and I was saying how much it was going to be awesome for him to just be able to, you know, hang on there late in the going, and these two battling the way that they are. He was setting himself up to be in the perfect position. But hey, that's one less car down. All Jamie Knopp needs is these guys to battle like they are. 24 sideways off the left rear quarter panel of Stephen Hollingsworth. That's going to give Stephen a 0.6 of a second advantage. Jose Acosta. Jeremy, I am literally going to run out of breath. I am probably going to have to use my nebulizer treatment for my asthma after this race, man, just because of how much I've been screaming and yelling here tonight because of this awesome action we have.
And I'm just glad the 25 wasn't affected by that one. Just imagine being such a dominant car all night and then having the 24 come out and clear you. That was such a hard contact. I'm really surprised the 24 didn't clean the inside wall. I'm surprised the 25 didn't get loose and clean the outside wall. But thankfully, we're still going straight. And on top of the 25 having an immense amount of pressure from Jose, here comes lap traffic. Michael Bachner is going to be the first victim to fall to Stephen Hollingsworth. He got 4 Chad Lane to 23 Brody Hannum. All these guys have been in some kind of incident in this race, so they're definitely off the pace. Will this benefit or hurt Hollingsworth as he tries to clear them as they're going side by side now right in front?
I think, Jeremy, it's all depending on if this 25 machine can get around everybody quick and cleanly and not overdrive the car like that. He got a little bit loose on the bottom of 1 and 2, and he's probably hollering over the radio, probably saying, hey, man, get out of the way, leaders are coming, pick a damn lane, and he's running that bottom right now, and just because of that lap traffic, look at who is caught up. Jose Acosta is right back into the battle here, going into 3 and 4, this time by only gonna have at the line 14 laps to go when they come back around. And man, Stephen Hollingsworth is just doing a hell of a job holding off this 24. He's trying to use every lap car he can here as a pick.
Brody Hannon gives Hollingsworth a shot middle down the back straightaway here. Jose is going to try. Oh, big wreck here. 24. Oh, they keep it going straight. 24 gets into the 23. No, there they go. Now they're piling up. And all the 19 of Richie Coy is involved there, who was, wrecked himself about 20 laps prior. But man, that's going to bring out our 8th caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. And Hollingsworth did not want to see this one bit.
Definitely not, but even though he's still the leader, and honestly, Jeremy, I hate to say this, I really, really do, just over-aggressive driving by the 24. He's trying to get through this lap traffic as quickly as he can and as possible. And unfortunately just comes right up in front of the 23, man. I get it. You're trying to race for a win. You're trying your damnedest, your hardest to get back up to the front. But, man, there's still lap traffic ahead. Give yourself time. I know the laps tick off in 15 and a half seconds here at Bristol. But you cannot be doing something like that this late in the race. You have the opportunity. You have the car to get to the lead. You cannot afford a mistake like that. And ultimately, the 24's mishap takes out a lot of good cars. Daniel Simmons, Richie Coy, despite the damage, man, these were all guys inside this top 5, top 6 here. And what a hit by the 24 coming down into that right front, hard into the wall. Daniel Simmons lifts up off the ground. Heavy hit into the outside barrier. And Richie Coy, just an innocent bystander.
Not only was that rough racing by the 24, but I mean, I'm not in the car, but I think Jose could have kept it up to the outside wall right here, but it just looked like he turned left down across the field, and that is not good. And that's why clearly it took out the 06, the 19 with heavy incident, or damage rather. We're going to be on board the 19 and Richie Coy this time, loose, continuing, trying to even hold the car normally. And here it comes crossing down the field, right rears the 06, 19, nowhere to go. Gets slammed into the right front there. The 24 sends him around. And yeah, that's the third multi-car incident we've seen here tonight.
Oh my gosh. Jeremy, breaking news. Stephen Hollingsworth has stayed out. Stephen Hollingsworth has stayed out. I cannot believe that. Or no, my bad. My apologies. He did pit. I thought he didn't because the lap times and the live timing and scoring sheets kind of all over the place right now, just because of that green flag run. Everybody pitting at different times. So never mind. Take what I said, throw it out the window. But hey, now Hollingsworth is going to have to deal with 2 guys here on this restart with probably under 10 laps to go that he's very familiar with. Obviously, the 15 of Nicholas Moreau, he's back up there. Despite the damage from earlier. Jamie Knopp, he's challenged for the lead. He got to the lead at one point just because of having fresher tires than the 22 and, like, you know, the rest of the field who was on older tires. And then there's 2 other guys, too, who are in the top 5 who are having very good nights. Look at this. We haven't talked about this kid all night besides almost getting wrecked off turn number 4. That being the heartbreak kid, Robert Milikian. Sitting P4, man, he has an opportunity to probably go after this win if anything were to happen to the leaders. And then Sherwood Williford, who needed to have a solid night here, currently came into the points tonight, 10 points out. And with everybody having issues, he is battling with Ryan Hedrick for this final transfer spot, man. And if you're Sherwood Williford, man, you need Ryan Hedrick to have an absolutely abysmal restart and last 10 laps here. This is going to be exciting to watch.
Robert Malikian going to sweet chin music his way into the top 5 of this one. And the 47 is locked in now into the playoffs to the round of 12. So this is just going to be, you know, for fun from this point forward, as long as you don't wreck it. Green flag is back and underway here. Restarting on lap 243. 8 laps to go in this race. The 84 trying everything he can. Oh, Malikian into the wall. There's going to lose the spot to the 42, Cal Milliken, as he regains his speed back through turns 3 and 4. And doesn't look like it's going to affect him too much. But Stephen Hollingsworth able to regroup and get back to the race lead. We saw Jose Acosta come on the chats and say, sorry, 06 broke a toe leak hitting the wall. That's why the car came down. That explains why he could not hold it back up to the wall. So super unfortunate there. Is, you know, the toe links are held by 3 toothpicks these days. Easy to break the thing, but see the 47 Hendrick trying to pass the 22 Malikian here through the corner 3 and 4 as they have 5 laps to go in the Bristol 250.
5 laps to go. Guys are hitting the wall left and right. Only a few survivors left. Top 12, the only guys up on the lead lap. 4 to go this time by. And still Stephen Hollingsworth, despite all the trials and tribulations he's had to deal with guys battling him up at the front here, he has a half a second lead over Jamie Knopp, who's trying his damnedest to try to run him down for this race lead. It could happen. 3 laps to go, Jeremy. We'll have to see.
Best chance Jamie Knopp has had all night other than the very initial start of this race here. I just think there's not enough time with the 25 being so fast on these short runs here. He knows how to get this job done, and his car looks very secure. I've not seen this guy get loose at all, but you never know. Coming to the line, 2 laps to go this time. Who's going to take it home?
We'll have to see. I think Jamie Knopp wants an opportunity. He's going to have to run the top. Hollingsworth into the wall off turns 2 and 1. This time by. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. Jamie Knopp's getting a little bit closer. Gets a little loose, but it's all Stephen Hollingsworth trying to bring that 25 Folgers forward to the front and to the win here at Bristol.
3 and 4 final time, and the winning moment is these short runs that the 25 of Hollingsworth had. Congratulations, man, on picking up the first one in the 2023 C section of the year, and that was well earned there by Steven.
I'm out of breath, man. I'm glad that we can finally calm down because that was one heck of a race there. What a drive. The Folgers machine is back to victory lane here. I want to say the last time it was in victory lane, not only with Tim Richmond, but probably I think was Mark Martin back in the late 90s or mid 90s, driving that number 6 for Jack Roush, now known as RFK. And hey, one thing to note too, that number 25 machine has the RFK little stripe at the bottom, right towards that right rear and left rear. You see it right there. He's going to burn it down up at the start finish line. Man, just what a dominant performance for such a racy race. Nobody could touch this 25 here tonight besides Jose Acosta, who ultimately just beat himself a little too much and was his own worst enemy. Stephen Hollingsworth, though, man, what a job by this guy here tonight.
That's his first win of all of 2023, so he's going to burn this thing down as much as he can and before the tires blow off this thing. But as he is celebrating on the front stretch, we're going to go over our unofficial results here tonight. Stephen Hollingsworth, P1. Jamie Knopp in second place. Nicholas Moreau finds himself back in podium, 2 for 2 since rejoining back here late in the summertime. Kyle Milliken in fourth. Sherwood Williford in fifth. Robert Malikian, P6. Ryan Hedrick moves himself into the round of 12 in 7th place. Stephen Loomis, 8th. James Wallace, 9th. And 10th place, Chad Lang.
And rounding out the rest of the field, you have Michael Blackner, P11. Brody Hanna, 12th. Richie Coy, one of the very few mishaps we've seen him have here tonight. He'll come home 13th. Daniel Simmons, 14th. Ben Tracy, 15th. Dublé, 16th. Jose Acosta, a night of what could have been here, 17th. Lane Allen, 18th. Josh Johnson needed a good night. We'll have to see how the points stack up. Probably going to do a little bit of math here at the end of this to see. He'll come home 19th. Rob Tracy, after a solid first half performance, he'll come home 20th. Daniel Fleur, 21st. Tony Solari, 22nd. Chapman, 23rd, who was out of the playoffs along with Tony Solari. Wayne Grossi, 24th. James Torrey, 25th. Colton Gum, 26th. And Brandon Elder, who did not make a lap tonight, he'll come home 27th.
And that is your unofficial results there. We're going to kick it to full screen commercial break and gather up tonight's top 3 and get their final thoughts for the Bristol 250. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone, for the Martin Sports Post-Race Show. We got our top 3 gathered up here tonight. And the first guy we're going to bring in is your third place finisher, The number 15, Mr. Nick Moreau, the Uni Tool Chevrolet Camaro. Nick, you got a copy.
Yes, sir.
Man, very eventful night for you there. Started second. I think you were involved in a couple incidences there. Fell back a little bit, and late in the going, you found yourself back into third place. So just overall, how'd you get back to P3, and how was your car after those wrecks?
Well, with that race, I'm fully happy with the third, because first of all, I apologize to Daniel. I think it's mostly my fault on that, but it's Bristol, baby, like we said. So yeah, right after that, I've got a lack of power, so I knew that the car was good for long run, and yeah, so I'm very happy for the third because I didn't expect that at the end.
Congratulations on where you finished here tonight, man. And I just got to say, by far, probably, in my opinion, the raciest race we've had all season. I know, obviously, you have other obligations, but how did it feel to be at a race that was just so racy tonight? Everybody was battling all over the place. Did you have fun? And was it what you expected?
Well, it's hard to expect something at Bristol. As said, I knew that the car was good for the short run, and I was not sure about the mid run, but long run was good enough. And it was fun. Yeah, it's fun. We don't like Bristol when we start, but at the end of the day, the start is fun, But yeah, so with no expectation, it's always fun at Bristol.
I'd have to agree there, man. If you set the bar a little too high, it takes all the fun out, and then you get involved in something, it's just a downer. So I like that the mentality to come in here, no expectations, and if you get a top three, then that's basically a victory for you. So congrats, man. Top three. It's back-to-back podium since rejoining here late in the summertime. And final thoughts before we let you go.
All right, so I say thanks to Transit. Thank you guys once again. Thanks for the league and people for watching the broadcast, and hopefully be here again next week.
All right, man. We're looking forward to it. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you guys. Yeah.
You're welcome. That was number 15 there, Nick Moreau, driver of the Transit Uni Tool Chevrolet Camaro. And now it's time to bring in second place, number 84, Mr. Jamie Knopp, driver of the Peak Magic Chevrolet Camaro. How you doing tonight? Congratulations, P2.
Thanks, sir. Doing great. How y'all doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty good up here. Your night overall was pretty good. You hung out in the top five for the most part. Started P4. Early on, you showed some great speed, and then I guess some pit stops sent you a little bit behind, and then late in the going, man, that car was blazing fast. Did you have anything or could have done anything different to catch that 25 there on that final restart?
Yeah, I had a pretty good car, and I was just riding right there at the beginning, running with them in the top 4 or 5, the first stage. And then when we come out of the pits for the stage, I sped and had to restart in the rear. And then I was wanting to save my stuff a little, but then lap cars was passing me, so I had to drive it pretty hard just to even make any ground. So it was a process to work my way back up. But now the 25, he was really fast. On that last pit stop, I thought about taking 2 tires, but then there was 2 or 3 lap cars in between us, and I thought he would still beat me out, so I was scared to try it and then fall further back on the restart. So I was just going to play it safe. And I stayed with him down the front and then turn 1, but then he had that good run off of 2, and then I knew it was over then. It was just trying to hold on for second after that.
Jamie, congratulations on your finishing position here tonight, man. Just talk to Nick, about Bristol. You don't really know what to expect. Obviously, it could be a crapshoot. It could be, a one dominant performance by a guy. But tonight we saw probably the raciest race we have all season long, man. And you guys put on one hell of a show for us up here in the booth. I'm definitely out of breath. Probably going to need my inhaler after this one, man. Did you have fun out here tonight? Because it was probably the raciest race, like I had said, all season.
Yeah, I had fun. There's a couple close calls and a couple wrecks happened when I was coming back from the back, but other than that, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I got to thank EPI for the great setup, and it just kept me in the game all night long.
Well, you are now the only rookie in the round of 12 here, so go ahead and go for this championship. So good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully the rest of the season treats you well. But final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
I just got to congratulate Steven on the great run. I think he had the pole, and I'm sure he led all the laps, but right there when people pitted in that first stage and got by him. So he almost could have led the whole race, but congrats to him. And thank you guys for broadcasting the race. And that's about it.
All right, man. Well, appreciate it. And go ahead and celebrate the rest of the night, and we'll catch you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, the number 84, Jamie Knopp of the Peak Magic Chevrolet Camaro. And now it's time to bring in the race winner of tonight's race for the first time this season, Stephen Hollingsworth. Welcome to Victory Lane.
Feels good.
I'm sure it does, man. Congratulations. That car was bad fast. I know you love the short runs. That's what you're known for, at least to me anyways. And I knew with the cautions that we saw on Wednesday would probably show up here tonight and give you a solid chance. And man, oh man, that car was a rocket ship. So just how much effort did you put in tonight's car? Overall, how was your race from your seat?
I mean, from what I saw, my car it was solid off exit, and everybody else was kind of getting loose. And I knew if I could just keep the track position, that I had a shot.
Congratulations, Steven, on the win here tonight, man. We've seen you battle for some race wins. Obviously, this season, your highest finishing position before this was 5th at Daytona just a few weeks ago, man. I'm sure, like you said, it feels great to win. But, you know, you and Jose there, man, you guys were having one hell of a battle for the race lead. At one point, was there at any point crossing your mind that you think he was going to maybe going a little too much over his head, or maybe you were going to make a mistake at some point and you guys were both going to tangle?
Yeah, he was definitely pressuring me. He was definitely faster in the center of the corner, center off. I can tell in my mirror. I'd enter the corner, make sure I wasn't gonna smack the wall, and I would kind of get back to the gas, and I can look in my rearview mirror, and he would be all the way on the gas, and like he was getting so close. He kind of hit me a couple times, but I knew if I could just keep him below me and not let him get to my right side, that it would be extremely hard for him to pass. And it turned out to be true, especially when we caught lap traffic. I felt like I was better at passing lap traffic than he was. And but yeah, he was definitely a threat there at the end.
Yeah, at one point you made that contact, and I was like, oh man, this would be terrible if he took you out. But thankfully, your car was not affected by it, and you continued on to bring home the checker flag for the first time all year. Steven, final thoughts before we let you go for this evening.
Yeah, I just appreciate the admins in the league that host all these events. It's pretty awesome. And you guys for showing up. And the guy that made this set, apparently his name is Matthew Grant. I appreciate it, man. See ya.
All right, man. Well, congrats once again, and hopefully you'll pick up another one of these checker flags before season's end. But we're gonna let you go. Have a good night.
See ya.
All right, there, and that was your race winner, Stephen Hollingsworth, driver of that number 25 Folgers Ford Mustang. He's been running that same skin, I believe, all year round, and he finally gets the W, Jason.
Whew. I'm out of breath. Look at Walt, man. Walt, I know Walt's probably tired after that one, man, because we made him work probably more than he ever would. He's gonna have a good night's sleep. He's gonna hit the hay here probably a little bit earlier, besides going and relaxing like he always does after these things. But man, all jokes aside, I mean, what a hell of a race, man. That was by far the best freaking race we've probably seen all year long with these Cup cars with the next gen. Can you believe I'm saying that? With the next gen. And I know this car gets a lot of hate. It's not the best on the short tracks, but man, this thing was so cool to watch all night long. It was super hard to drive, especially on the exit off turn 4 with the load, plus the transition, plus, you know, just that grip. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't drive this thing here. I've only driven it a few times. Definitely is not my favorite car track combo. I can promise you that. It probably wouldn't even make my top 10. Just handling wise, but man, just what a great night. What a great performance by Stephen Hollingsworth. I mean, just pure dominance, something that we probably didn't expect to see here tonight. I mean, let's face it, guys. We probably expected to see the usual suspects up at the front. Sure enough, it was far from that. We saw Jamie Knopp. We saw Jose Acosta. We saw Daniel Simmons, you know, the Tracys. I mean, everybody was up here at the front of this race at some point. And this is definitely one that we're going to be looking back on and thinking to ourselves, that guy was a contender once. And it just goes to show you that every single week, any one of these guys can win, because I want to say, besides Hollingsworth's dominant performance, I think everybody probably, besides the guys who wrecked earlier on in this race, touched second place or third place or even just the top 5 at some point during this race. By far the best race I've had all season calling here.
Yeah, excellent point for sure. Minus Hollingsworth, everybody, yeah, just switching out second, third place, left and right all race long, and that's what you love to see. In the top 3, 2 of them are not championship contenders, so goes to show you that diversity there in the front. Dustin, like to hear your final thoughts on the next gen car here at Bristol.
I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier, but I will say you're not gonna get me to fall for that trick, Jeremy. I will say that I agree with you and Jason on this one here. This was probably one of the most action-packed, entertaining races that we have seen in this car in a while, and I'm even putting that up to the Kansas race when these boys took it to Kansas, because that was a good race too. But there was action all over the track. It didn't matter where I pointed the camera. It didn't matter who it was. If it was up front, if it was top 5, top 10, back of the pack, there was racing and action all over. There was adversity. You had Coffin Corner, which at this track happened to be turn 4. Turn 4 was the Coffin Corner. A lot of drivers, getting loose, hitting the inside wall. It was action packed. Definitely, probably one of my top 5 out of the entire 2023 season thus far for the Mach-1 Performance Cup Series.
Yeah, 100% there. I have to agree with you. It has to be in that top 5, no doubt about it. But it's our time to close this thing down. I'm going to thank our sponsors one last time, which should be on the right-hand side of your screen. Thank you, FTSR, for letting us do this for 2 years. Join us, FTSR.net. Get yourself registered today if you want to race on Monday and Wednesdays on the broadcasted races. Mach-1 Performance Series sponsor every single Monday night. Fabrication shop that's produced champions and winners of all sorts of racing divisions. Find them at Facebook at Mach-1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, your league points management system that allows you to completely track your league stats and more with a simple upload of the export. You can find them at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable. See the whole apparel lineup at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the focus from the racing action. You can find them at iRacingIFlag.com. The Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from the race car directly into your sim seat with one of their haptic response units. So you can find them at thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing setups, quality, professionally built, and they're the best on the asphalt ovals attested here at FTSR. A lot of winners using their setup. So that's at teamwatsonracing.com. Dusty Pete's Gifts and Collectibles, hobby shop with a whole lot more. So if collecting is the game, then Dusty Pete's is the name, and you're going to find them at dustypete's.com. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with coffee from Roasted Gems. That's it, guys. We're going to catch you guys tomorrow night for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series. They're going to be around this track in Bristol.
No,
Till then,
not tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night.
yes.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
No.
Okay, so before we close it out,
Wednesday.
it'll be Wednesday for the Martin Sports Truck Series. We are unable to broadcast tomorrow. We have
Okay.
family medical stuff.
You're right,
We
you're
being
right.
myself, my wife, and my daughter, we have to go out of town for family medical stuff. So we will unfortunately not be able to broadcast the amazing race at Bristol for the RSR Next Gen Cup Series, but we will be back in action Wednesday for the Martin Sports Trucks.
That's right. We had that flip flop. We thought it was Wednesday, but it's actually Tuesday. Thank
That was
you
my
for the
fault.
correction.
That was my fault.
Had me all in my head there. My bad. We'll take 50-50 on that one. But that's it, man. So we'll see you now Wednesday for the March Sports Truck Series. But until then, get your nerd on.